Are you doing your Amazon FBA product research and feeling just stuck? Like you can't find an Amazon FBA product to launch? Well, let me tell you, that's a very, very common feeling of many people when they're first beginning product research, or even if they're doing it for a while. Well, there are 5 reasons why that is the case, and the mistakes you could potentially be making. I'm going to break them down for you so you can avoid them and actually find successful products. So let's go. Hey, it's me, Karina. Welcome back to my channel. I'm here to help you with product research as it's a very common struggle of many. So I jotted down 5 reasons and we're going to go through all of them. And before we get going, please do subscribe to my channel because I do post daily videos that are going to be very helpful with your Amazon FBA journey. And as a bonus with this video, I put together a product research guide. It's going to be linked down below. You can just click it and download it, and it's going to really take this to the next level and help you find more profitable products if you're just trying to look for new strategies or if you want to start out for the first time. So let's go over these 5 very, very important reasons I'm going to share with you today. So the first reason is you are limiting yourself when you're doing your product research. And this is a very common issue because there's a lot of videos and a lot of courses and programs that teach product research a very certain way. And so do I. I try to teach people how to minimize their risk and really find really profitable, healthy products that can get you ahead. However, if you really follow some of the limitations when it comes to finding products, for example, it needs to be small, of a certain size, of a certain weight, and you are just kind of have blinders on and looking for those specific numbers and products, that's really going to set you back because Amazon is very, very diverse and there are many, many products that are profitable if you just use your creativity. And most people don't do that. Most people put on blinders, they try to follow a specific criteria. And don't get me wrong, following standards and following a specific criteria and a specific strategy is going to help you. But if you're using that as not to be creative and you're just kind of going based off of numbers, then you're really going to miss opportunities within certain markets. So I really want you to widen your horizons and not limit yourself to be looking for these standards. Really try to see opportunity in products as a whole and ways you can penetrate certain niches and markets. And then you're going to notice that many opportunities are going to start to arise that also fit within those numbers that you are looking for. The second thing is overthinking. This is a very, very large one as well. People tend to overthink their products. They could potentially find a great winning product, and there are many cases, and I can guarantee you that if you have been doing product research for a very long time and you are just really doing it consistently every single day, you probably have a good handful of products that you can take to phase 2 of product research and could find out that they could be potentially profitable products. But if you are sitting there overthinking and at the same time limiting yourself, thinking that you need to find a specific product or always looking for flaws within products, then that could become really limiting and it could prevent you from wanting to do step number 3, which we'll uncover in a second. But don't overthink it. Again, you always want to minimize risk, and that's what I teach in my Amazon FBA program. But at the same time, you don't want to stress yourself and think that there's only one specific type of product, and if you don't find it, then you're not going to be successful in launching it. So that brings us to problem number 3, and that is not actually taking action. There are so many people that send me DMs that say, I have been doing research and I found these products, or I found this great product and I'm negotiating with suppliers. And a lot of the time, unfortunately, that's where it stops. It stops either at halfway through product research, or people even tend to go as far as negotiating with suppliers, getting samples. But when it comes to actually placing the order, they don't do this. And that becomes very dangerous because you could potentially be most of the way there. And the hardest part is finding the right product. You could be most of the way there, negotiate with suppliers, and just stop. Or you can stop because you're just overthinking, you're limiting yourself, and you think there's not enough products, so you just quit and say, you know what, I'm never gonna try. And that's a huge issue. You need to actually do something, even if it's ordering a very small test order quantity of a product, which of course, I don't advise anyone to jump into this model and just kind of play along and go with the flow and just do it based off of YouTube videos, because you could potentially be making many mistakes if you just use your judgment and a few good YouTube videos that you think are, may help you with the business model, I really always suggest sitting down through a credible program, learning the entire business model, and then making those calculated launches and risks and potential mistakes. But that's going to set you away from all the mistakes, the costly mistakes you could be making if you were to just do it on yourself. So I do always recommend taking action, but that means with proper education. Don't just do it blindly. That's very, very important. Number 4 is you don't know what you are looking for. And that correlates with what I just talked about, which is getting the right information. You can watch many YouTube videos and have that help you, but you can also get confused and maybe you just don't know what you're looking for. Maybe you don't even know what the product research criteria is, what type of numbers you should be putting in, what actually makes a good product. And one of the biggest mistakes I found people do is they get the gist down, which is the initial step of, okay, we can see that a product is profitable based on the price and the margins. We see that it's a stable market and everyone on the first page is doing relatively well in their sales. For example, my criteria that I like to use is at least above $5,000 across the whole market. And then you, of course, gaze over to the reviews and realize that it's a small number. So that's great, but that doesn't necessarily mean just go for this product and it's going to be successful. There are many ways past this step, and I feel that's where people get confused, is they could potentially find a market that looks great on the numbers side of things, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's a great product. And when it comes to the next steps of that, they just don't know what they're looking for. And I have a playlist on my channel that's specifically on how to validate products, and of course I teach it in way more detail and all the steps of product research in my program, where I analyze literally the fundamentals of product research, show you how to do it, and then show you how to make sure and validate your product. So you really need to make sure you know the information that's coming from. And that brings us to our last, which is reason number 5, which is people tend to go for either trendy products or products that are too common. This is very unfortunate, because I don't know which one people tend to lean most towards, but I feel like there's a good amount of both trendy products and common products. If you go for something that is super trendy, it's usually the appeal of people that think, okay, I'm just gonna launch this, I'm gonna capitalize on this trend and make a bunch of money. Well, the real reality of that is you are going to have a very difficult time getting yourself to the front. If it's a trendy product, it's probably all over the place, such as Facebook ads, Shopify. Everyone is trying to sell this product, and you're not going to go very far with it. It usually tends to be in really oversaturated markets, and the trend will die out. And you will know this if you go to Google Trends and literally type it in, and you will see how well the trend is. If it's been really slow and all of a sudden there's a spike for whatever reason, maybe it's on the news, maybe someone is promoting it, maybe it's just a trend that's in the world that's going on, but that is going to die down. And you can have a great trendy product, but the reality of it is, even if you do get to the top page, that trend is going to die, and you essentially don't really know how to do the Amazon FBA business model. You just know how to capitalize on a trend one time, and when is the next trend going to come around? No one really knows. What you want to do is learn how to build something sustainable that's prolonged, that's going to give you good, steady income for months to come, years and years and years. And you want to look for the longevity of products. And vice versa, if we look at common products, that's also not the best. Although there is, not as many trends associated with that, and you can keep this longevity of those for a long time, they also tend to be products that have been around for a very long time, so it's difficult to break through to the market. If you do find products that are more common, that doesn't necessarily mean don't do it. Again, analyze the market, analyze the numbers, just don't kid yourself. And if it has thousands of reviews and if everyone has been selling it for a long time, that is a no-go. And of course, you're wondering what this number 6 is here, because I said there would only be 5 reasons. And by the way, before I reveal this very important factor, don't forget about the guide down below about how to do product research. I think it's really going to help you out, especially if you're encountering any one of these problems. So just check that down below. And let's uncover number 6. And that is value. Okay, this is pretty much the most important thing that you should be doing, and that's what's going to ensure as much as possible that your product is going to be successful. If you add value to the customer, to your product, it's very difficult for you to be knocked down. Say you avoided all these mistakes and you actually know what you're looking for and you've done the right research, but you don't add any value, you might not stand out. Adding value doesn't necessarily mean you have to do something crazy or create a different design, innovate something. No. All it means is really study the market, really know what a customer wants. You can modify that a little bit and that could really go a long way. Whether it's improving the package, bundling it with something, making or slightly altering the design of the product that is more user-friendly, all of that matters. Or simply creating a better, more visually aesthetic listing. That is very, very helpful and it's going to add value to the customer and really help your business grow. So those are the 5 things, along with reason number 6, which is very, very important as well. So pay attention to all of that, and all the links I mentioned are down below. Don't forget your guide, and I will see you in my next video. Have a great day.